The first new scene we get from the trailer is showing us that Vi is talking to Caitlyn and accepts that she was right about Jinx being far too gone. Don't know how much of this is Vi lying to herself to be with Caitlyn or the amount of gaslighting that is brainwashing her. Now we get another shot of the Enforcer getting blown up inside the prison, and I'm really starting to buy the Jinx prison break idea. At first I thought that Jinx getting jailed kinda halts the development of a radical Zon, but there's so much information within the trailers hinting at it, such as Jinx being kept in a room similar to Vi's prison hallway. Now holy fuck, Caitlyn got dark, and yeah, that's not surprising. I'm wondering who she's talking to. If it's Vi, it's crazy that she's telling this to her face, but that would also develop Vi's personal conflict regarding Jinx. But Vi seems resolved as much as she can be, about to cry in the first teaser trailer. That decision does not seem to go over well with Vi, with her unleashing her anger on the punching bag and screaming into it, parallels to season 1 Jinx boxing. Notice that Vi has black and red hair here, so this might be in her pit fighter phase, or I think after it. Also notice how she has bandages on her cheek and neck, so I wonder what that's about. Savika asks Jinx what she thinks about becoming the leader and a symbol of Zon, and she answers that she wants to burn everything down. There's a lot of symbolism with fire within Arcane, so I think I might make a video talking about that. So we see Vi's strike team get attacked with smoke and the whole city gets covered in smoke. Although I did make a theory regarding Piltover getting destroyed and you guys during stream agreed that this was close to that happening, I still don't think that this is what this scene exactly is, but I'll elaborate on that later. We have this scene of Mbessa looking menacingly in her battle outfit and has a similar color scheme to an injured Jinx here, so I see a lot of discussion where Mbessa is the one that takes Jinx in. That matchup makes sense between leaders of both sides, but I don't know how I feel about Mbessa winning that fight. Don't worry, I'll talk more about this later. So we have Chuck with the other Zonites fighting against Enforcers, and it's cool to see the Zonites using smoke grenades to prevent Enforcers from gunning them down like in the last war. Now they're able to get in close and push the front lines backwards. One of the Zonites even looks like one of Echo's firelights, so just keep that in mind. Here's another scene where Mbessa charges her soldiers into war. And this is the craziest part of the trailer. We see people in the Field of Flowers with a corrupted Hexcore-esque structure in the shape of a hex gate. There's a lot to say about this. This could be the same Field of Flowers the mage teleported their baby Jace, which brings in the connection to the mage we'll see later. Now, with the structure of the Hex Gate, I think it's most likely the Hex Gate. There's no way the Arcane creators would build such a similar structure with it being pure coincidence. I said before how it's super likely the Hex Gates also get destroyed, and it's not impossible for Jinx to blow up the Hex Gates while it's in the middle of activating, which glitches out and teleports itself to a random location. Or something more likely people have said, it might be Heimerdinger or Victor activating this structure in an experiment, as we see Heimerdinger experimenting with the Hex Core in a similar colored bursts of energy. It could also be Victor given the corrupted Hex Core texture and the flesh of the ascended humans. In my opinion, I think it's Victor fiddling with the Hex Core and the Hex Gates and maybe teleporting it away or building his own version of the Hex Gate to bring in beings from other realms, or using it as a true gate for the Arcane to augment people. Immediately after this, we get the shot of Singe saying if the person he's talking to has felt the Arcane waking up. Therefore, between the connections with the Hex Core, Singe, and Hextech flesh, I still think it's Victor that's doing all of this. Here's a scene of Warwick looking ferocious as usual. The person he's attacking has the Enforcer Pauldron, so I think this is where Singe frees Warwick to save himself from getting arrested. Now here's Caitlyn during the Enforcer headquarter raid. Echo is attacking the Noxian army. I see this as perfectly in character for Echo, as he wants to leave Piltover and Zon to deal with his problems itself. He would not be happy with a third party of Noxus coming in and muddying the waters, as they definitely would have ulterior motives. Here's Jinx using a new Hextech pistol. This is probably the improved version of her old one to include Hextech. We see a different Hextech experiment go wrong, and I think this is Heimerdinger. This experiment is definitely happening in Piltover, and I think it would be great as a parallel to Jace secretly doing Hextech in Season 1 with Heimerdinger making Enforcers to stop it, but this time Heimerdinger is secretly doing Hextech while Jace gets Enforcers to stop it. No clue what this is, but given the spherical dome and the last shot also having a spherical structure, I think it might be the inner workings of the Hextech experiment, or maybe the Arcane portal to another realm. Heimerdinger looks pretty cute here, running away from this Hextech experiment and falling over, and he's not looking real good with that bone outline. Definitely not foreshadowing his death. Echo seems really beat up here, talking about moving forward and leaving things behind, and this might be where Echo changes sides from fighting with Jinx for Zon to fighting with Vi to stop Jinx. A lot of people are confused what this is, but this definitely looks like a mid-time skip Echo and might be the scrap flashback I mentioned might be part of Season 2 in the video in the info card. This is actually a really good video, so I recommend watching this. Now this is definitely the Hex Core as it keeps evolving with this flesh-like structure. Also, would like to mention someone appears to be inside it, maybe being Jace. And here is a shot of, I think is Jace, because you have the crystal on the wrist, which is very indicative of Jace since he's probably holding his hammer thing. And if you look in the background, Jace is heading towards the giant bubble Hex Core Hexgate thing that I said Victor was building. So probably where Victor and Jace have their big confrontation. With the shot of a mage who saved Jace, I don't think it's the actual mage, but I think it's more likely than not that the Hex core absorbing Jace brings out his inner dreams, as we already established that Hextech equals dreams. And this manifestation of Jace's desire would make the world a better place. Maybe this has something to do with Victor creating a giant Hextech structure to transmutate all of Topside. This is the Dark Vi arc where she gets viewers to cheer. Now this is Caitlyn with a new railgun. I think this scene is happening in the last fight, and maybe Caitlyn has gone through some character revelations at this point since her eyes look bright again. I'm scared about the gun since Caitlyn's character has been choosing what she has been shooting for, and this gun only has one barrel, meaning that Caitlyn at this point is dead set on her path. So either this gun could completely destroy Jinx or something and send her off the deep end, or it's a nice gun that shoots a big net or something, signaling Caitlyn turning good again. Now we see Mbessa fighting Enforcers. This could be when Jace ousts Mbessa from her position and she wants to claim all of Piltover for Hextech weaponry. We also see a bunch of Noxian ships, so this is definitely Mbessa trying to invade Piltover. My theory is that this is happening during the climax, as the most important part of Jace's arc would be near the end. Mbessa also wouldn't step into a battlefield. That's what didn't make sense with me from the last trailer, because if you're a counselor, like why would you risk yourself dying if you could just send a bunch of your own soldiers to do the dirty work? So I think this is where Mbessa gets desperate and has to do things herself when she's backed into a corner. My guess, Mbessa sides with Jinx to take down Piltover together. Could mean that the scene of an injured Jinx could be Jinx meeting with Mbessa to make an alliance. And that's why Echo helps Vi against Jinx as Jace takes care of Mbessa. I think that'd be a great dual storyline, all culminating into one moment. Here, Vi is in a stupidly bulky suit that's probably used to protect her from Jinx's explosions, as we see a building blowing up behind her before it gets destroyed, but not before Vi gets close enough to settle things with her sister. Here we see Vi without the armor, which looks so much better than before, and a lot better than her Enforcer outfit, and she has rockets on her gloves which give her extra mobility as she hops on Echo's hoverboard to fly up as they presumably head towards Jinx. We see Caitlyn looking up at probably Jinx in an airship, as there's probably a dead person next to her, I would say a Strike Force member. And this is what I've been excited for, Jinx in a new outfit. The shaking around her implies she's finally in an airship and there's people hanging, which are probably also the strike team members who tried to stop her from taking off. Jinx also has her braids cut if you look closely, so I wonder what that's about. The purple streak looks sick on her though, and I need to buy that hoodie if they sell that as merch. She also has the middle finger as the metal prosthetics, so I guess I was wrong about that. Here's a shot of a little girl getting carried by a possible Caitlyn or Savika, as it's probably the same girl standing behind Jinx in the other trailer. Here's Echo using his time machine. I think since Echo is using it aggressively, it says a lot. Echo in League of Legends uses his Z-Drive to go back in time and redo mistakes, a defensive procedure. But alongside Echo talking about moving forward during the trailer, I think Echo, after realizing that you can't undo mistakes, changes his Z-Drive to blip forward in time. And Echo can use this aggressively by blinking forward to where he's about to be. Here's Caitlyn getting topped. Now, this makes me scared. I think from the hair divide on top, this might be Mel. People are saying it's Silco, but Silco would definitely have some difference between the eyes. It could also be Mel's brother or maybe Victor trying to bring someone back to life, but considering how Mel also has golden stuff under her eyes, it's super likely to be Mel. Here's Vi versus Warwick during her emo arc, which I literally predicted in this video that Warwick is what gives Vi the resolve to get back into battle. Now here's Heimerdinger starting his experiment. Now I want to talk about this scene, which is probably the end of Act 1. This is Savika getting the better of Caitlyn before getting exploded. Note how in the last trailer we see a disheveled Caitlyn shooting at something, so I think Caitlyn gets back up to shoot at Jinx, which hits her Hextech weapons as they malfunction and blow her up. I also would like to mention that Jinx is fighting Vi at close range here with her gun drenched in shimmer. Now here's the scene of Jinx in the air blowing up. This is probably how she lost her middle finger. I think that this Vi scene is directly before or after her watching her sister nearly die and get arrested. So that's me covering the trailers. A lot of good theories coming out of this. I'll see if there's any videos for me to make. They're pretty short, honestly. I think I'll just make a bunch of shorts. Other than that, yeah, that's the trailer summarize. Make sure to comment. I really want to see what all you guys are thinking is going on with the trailer and if you agree or disagree with any of my ideas. So other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.